just curious, we talk a lot with individuals that are entrepreneurs, that are real estate investors, and one of the things that I'm always intrigued by is, I've never told you this, so not now because of the COVID, but probably a couple years ago, there's a individual who will public speak on the topic of real estate, and I travel with him, and I just share, I just share on stage basically, and so I'll get a lot of these students that will come after the presentation's over, and they struggle with believing they can do it. Right? Nobody wants to lose money. I was in that place. Before I ever bought my first house, I didn't want to lose money, right? But then, fast forward 18 years later, it's now my normal to buy a house, fix it up, and flip it. And so these people will study and study and study, and we call it paralysis of analysis, because years will go by and they'll never buy a house. But they'll go and listen to every speech and every video on YouTube. So I'm intrigued by the mindset, right, of some people who can do things and who can't. You obviously had a mindset that was very, very strong to be a professional hockey player, right, NHL. I mean, you had a belief system in yourself. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your game day rituals? I asked Jonathan Garcia what was his rituals on Olympic Day when he had to compete. And it's fascinating to me because I've never been at that level.
Well, I think it changed. It was ever evolving as I got more mature and started understanding the importance of different little details, trying to find edges here and there, whether it was nutrition, whether it was rest, things like that. But towards the end here, I mean, I'm pretty much at the end of the road as far as my career goes. I might be able to squeak out another couple of years after this next contract, but I think it's all about routine. I think it's finding a routine that works. It's not a superstitious thing. It can be if you believe in superstitious stuff, like a lot of athletes do. I wasn't a superstitious guy. I just wanted to keep the same routine. That way it kind of paved the road for me for a game day to just know I was in neutral ground, neutral territory. So for me, some of those things were try to get somewhere between 8 to 10 hours of sleep the night before, and a nice meal before that.
Okay.
I mean, I even have milk and cookies.
Oh, nice.
Like at the Ritz-Carlton, in the NHL, they treat you pretty nice. So you're seeing at Ritz's every city, so you get the $25 milk and cookies from Ritz. Wow, looking back at that, like I actually spent that. But it helped to sleep, and then you wake up and you'd have a good morning. Breakfast or not. I'm not a breakfast eater, to be honest.
Okay.
I naturally, my whole life, have done intermittent fasting, and now it's becoming a thing.
Interesting.
And I think it's kind of chuckle at that. But I just eat when I'm hungry.
Okay.
So usually I wake up, I'm not really that hungry, and we have morning skates on game days. So
got it.
If I have too much food, I feel lethargic. I don't want to feel lethargic on the ice. So I just go out in the morning skate. Get a couple puck touches, we call them. Just feel the hands, feel the shot, skates, and just get a good sweat in. And after that, you have pregame meal, and then you have basically a 4-hour window to rest up before you have to be back at the rink 2 hours before the game.
Yes.
So then, that's the day routine, and then the 2 hours before the game is a whole different. That's a total mindset thing where you're trying to get locked in. Trying to find that balance, total line of being calm, but also ramping yourself up for that adrenaline rush.
Do you use music to do that?
I used to. I don't anymore. Kind of let the young guys play these, rap tunes. The European guys play all that techno stuff. And So, I mean, playing in Russia was a nightmare listening to their music, so I was actually listening to my own. So
Gotcha.
But so I mean, it depends on where I'm at and how the tunes are, the team tunes are. If I like them, then I'll listen to that.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, because that's so helpful for, I think, a lot of people that just have the paralysis of analysis, right? They just got to, like you said, it's a ritual. It's just a, what was the word? Routine. Thank you. It's a routine. It's just a routine. You do something enough, it becomes your normal.
Well, I think the fear of failure is a real thing.
Right.
I think people having to cope with that fear of failure is it's a challenge. I look at real estate too. It's interesting. I'm learning a little bit about it myself, and my wife and I are thinking about taking some risks there as well.
Yeah.
It is a risk, but at the same time, my view of it is, at one point in time, that person that spent $50,000 on a property thought that was a ton of money, and now it's worth triple that. And
right.
Like, I'm sitting on a gold mine.
Right.
And I think that's all relative to the times. I think places like Park City where I live, places like out west here, people are expanding and growing. Yeah, there's a risk, but at the same time, you can almost, minus the housing crisis that happened, you can almost bank on a good percentage of interest every year.
Exactly.
So I think it's all relative. I think that fear of failure, like you said, it can be paralyzing. It can be really paralyzing in sports too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you're not willing to take risk as an athlete, you're not letting your instincts take over.
Right.
You're playing a calculated game. So if you play an opponent that's not playing calculated, he's letting his instincts take over.
Yes.
He's gonna win.
Yes.
He's gonna beat you every time.
Right.
So you gotta be loose. You gotta find that balance of be loose, but also care, but also let your instincts just naturally take over.
Right.
And that's really hard to do.
Yes.
Especially if you are scared of failing.
Right. That makes total sense.